Remember the snacks that made your childhood unforgettable? From chocolate bars that shattered in your hands to icy poles that disappeared faster than recess ended. These are the treats that vanished from shelves, but never from our memories. Stick around, because we're taking you on a sweet, nostalgic trip through 15 Aussie snacks only. True Aussies, remember. Sunny boys, remember those blazing summers when a tetrahedral orange ice treat could make you grin from ear to ear? Sunny boys weren't just a sweet snack. They were the spark behind a band that carried that same bright, happy, youthful energy into Sydney pubs in 1979. Named after the Tetra Pak ice, Sunny Boys embodied fun, joy, and a certain Aussie irreverence. Kids lining up at local milk bars may not have known it, but this little frozen delight gave birth to a sound that would dominate charts, fuel gigs, and echo across playgrounds. Though the original band broke up in 1984, the memory of that sunlit orange treat and the music it inspired lingered. The band reunited sporadically, delighting fans from the Enmore Theatre to Meredith Music Festival. Sunny Boys the snack and Sunny Boys the band became a shared cultural touchstone, fleeting, vibrant, and unforgettable. So when you bite into a forgotten treat from the 1980s, remember, some flavours, like certain melodies, never really leave us. Sunny Boys may be gone, but the nostalgia lingers, bright and tangy, just like that first icy crunch. Polywaffle. Ah, the simple joy of a chocolate bar that could make your school lunch feel like a carnival. Polywaffle wasn't just chocolate, it was a crunchy, airy tube of marshmallow magic, wrapped in chocolate perfection. Introduced in 1947 by Hoadleys in Melbourne, this iconic treat became a staple of Aussie childhoods, from playground trades to the thrill of sneaking a sweet during homework. The slogan, crunch, ah, captured the very moment your teeth met that crispy, marshmallow-filled wonder. Nestlé's acquisition in 1988 kept the bar alive, but by 2009, after 62 years, Polywaffle vanished from shelves, leaving a sticky sweet void in the hearts of kids and adults alike. Yet the nostalgia never faded. Burgerman Men's revived the brand with Polywaffle Bites in 2024, bringing back a bite-sized reminder of carefree afternoons and mischievous laughs. Some snacks are more than sugar and chocolate, they're time machines. Polywaffle transported generations to simpler days, where crunch and marshmallow meant happiness in every bite. It may have disappeared for a while, but its memory, like its airy centre, stays light, fun, and unforgettable. Bertie Beetle. Some treats aren't just chocolate, they're a passport to every country fair you ever wandered through. Bertie Beetle was exactly that. A tiny chocolate bar filled with crunchy honeycomb, shaped like a cheeky little beetle, and sold in the cheapest, most beloved show bags across Australia. Introduced in 1963 by Hoadleys, Bertie Beetles became a rite of passage for kids at agricultural shows, fairs and festivals, tucked into pockets, traded with friends, or saved for later like hidden treasure. Though Nestlé took over production in 1988 and supermarket editions appeared briefly, Bertie Beetle's heart remained in show bags. Kids didn't just eat them, they collected them, counted them, and dreamed about which special edition bag would appear next. Variants like the Bonanza or retro show bags turned a few chocolate bars into a miniature adventure. Even when Lady Beetle vanished, Bertie Beetle endured, a crunchy, sweet link to childhood summers, sticky fingers, and the thrill of the fairground. Some snacks never truly leave. They become part of the culture, the memory, and the anticipation of that next show bag. Bertie Beetle may be small, but its legacy is enormous. Dunkaroos. Imagine opening a lunchbox and discovering a little packet that promised pure joy in every bite. Dunkaroos weren't just cookies, they were an experience. First launched in 1990 by Betty Crocker, these snack-size packs combined mini cookies and a dollop of frosting perfectly made for dunking. The cookies came in fun shapes: kangaroos, letters, footprints, and even hot air balloons. Each bite was a playful dance of sweetness and crunch, a moment that turned any afternoon into a tiny celebration. With mascots like Sydney and later Duncan, the brand embodied a quirky, Australian-inspired fun that spoke to kids everywhere. Though discontinued in the US in 2012 and vanishing from shelves in Australia for years, Dunkaroos lived on in memories and online campaigns. Limited edition flavours, cereal adaptations, and yogurt spin-offs kept fans dreaming of the classic dunk and eat ritual. Some snacks leave more than a taste. They leave nostalgia etched in childhood rituals. Dunkaroos captured that magic, transforming cookie time into an event. Even absent from stores, their colourful frosting and playful shapes remain a sweet emblem of carefree Aussie afternoons. Burgerman. Nothing sparks lunchbox nostalgia quite like the crunch of a forgotten chip. Burgerman was exactly that, a puffed, burger-shaped snack coated in savoury burger-flavoured seasoning, adored by kids throughout the 1990s and 2000s. Every bite carried a playful, salty punch that made school lunches feel like a treat, not just fuel for the afternoon. Though discontinued in 2016, Burgerman never really left the hearts of Aussie snack lovers. Social media erupted with excitement when rumours of its return surfaced, with fans scrambling to share stories, screenshots, and petitions. The Bring Back Burgerman Chips movement gathered hundreds of signatures, proving that some snacks are more than just crisps. They're a shared memory, a cultural touchstone, a taste of childhood summers. From lunchboxes to supermarket aisles, Burgerman embodied a simple joy. Its quirky shape, bold flavour, and unmistakable crunch made every packet an event, a moment of mischief and delight. Even years after shelves went bare, the anticipation of one last bite reminded Aussies why nostalgia tastes best with a little salt and a lot of crunch. Burgerman may be back soon, but its legend has never left. Scorched Peanut Bar. Some snacks aren't just sweet, they're a little bit daring. The Scorched Peanut Bar was one of those rare treats. First manufactured in 1928, this chocolate bar combined roasted peanuts baked in toffee and coated in rich chocolate, delivering a crunchy, chewy, and indulgent bite every time. Known as the Hard Bar, it was a lunchbox staple for adventurous kids and a guilty pleasure for anyone seeking a bold snack. Over the decades, Scorched Peanut Bar became iconic, remembered for its satisfying texture and memorable advertising, which leaned into rugged, cheeky imagery of lumberjacks and daring scenarios. Though Nestlé eventually discontinued it, the bar never disappeared from the collective memory of Aussies who grew up relishing its caramelised crunch and nutty richness. In 2019, Cook's Confectionery brought it back, reigniting nostalgia for a generation who had longed for its return. Special editions like 250-gram tubs of Scorched Peanut Bites even made the snack accessible for modern sharing. Some treats aren't just snacks, they're a moment, a memory, and a tiny adventure in every bite. The Scorched Peanut Bar reminds Aussies that daring flavours and sweet nostalgia can coexist in perfect harmony. Space food sticks. Some snacks weren't just about taste, they promised a journey. Space food sticks captured that imagination perfectly. First created in the late 1960s by Pillsbury's chief food technologist, these compact, rod-shaped snacks were inspired by NASA's early space missions. Individually wrapped and nutritionally balanced, or at least marketed that way, they came in flavours like chocolate, caramel and peanut butter, offering a sweet, energising bite for lunchboxes, recess, or any time a boost was needed. In Australia, Space food sticks were introduced under the White Wings brand and later Nestlé Stars, becoming a favourite among kids fascinated by astronauts and the thrill of space exploration. With each stick, snack time felt a little like a countdown to liftoff. The bars disappeared from shelves in 2014, with only a brief 2019 re-release celebrating the Apollo 11 anniversary. Space food sticks weren't just a snack, they were a tiny adventure, a taste of the cosmos packed into a humble rod. Even decades later, Aussies remember lining up the sticks in neat rows, comparing flavours and dreaming of stars. Some snacks vanish, but the memories they create orbit forever in childhood nostalgia. Toobs. Few snacks have left such a tangy, tomatoey mark on Aussie taste buds as Toobs. First created in 1954 by Albert Cranham, these wheat-based, tube-shaped crisps became a novelty favourite through the 1970s. Each bite offered a punchy, savoury flavour that stood out from your standard potato chip, making Toobs a lunchbox legend and a supermarket curiosity. Toobs vanished from shelves several times, first disappearing in 2001, returning in 2007 as Tasty Toobs, then vanishing again in 2015. Public outcry followed each disappearance, with campaigns and hashtags like #BringBackToobs rallying fans, including cricket legend Shane Warne, though production was always constrained by consumer demand. The 2021 comeback thrilled Aussies once more, with 35-gram and 150-gram packs flying off shelves and even selling for premium prices online. A limited edition run eventually became permanent, with Australian-made versions offering a firmer bite for fans in New South Wales and Queensland. Toobs weren't just snacks, they were an experience, a taste of tangy nostalgia, and a reminder that even the simplest crisps can spark passion. For those who remember, Toobs were a little tube of tomato-flavoured joy, disappearing and returning like a fleeting childhood dream. Toucan ice cream. Remember the glory days of the 1990s school lunchbox? Among the colourful snacks and icy treats, one icy pole stood out, the Toucan. Famous for its twin sticks, rainbow colours and cheerful toucan mascot, it was a childhood icon across Australia. Fans still recall the jingle, "I can, you can, one or two can," and the 4 bright flavours it came in. Despite its popularity, Toucan ice cream vanished from milk bars and service stations without warning. Tracking its origins proved tricky. Streets and Peters had no records. But a 1999 federal court document revealed that PB Foods, in partnership with Cadbury Schweppes, had manufactured the Toucan Twin Stick Icy Pole. The product likely ceased when Buller acquired the ice cream business and lacked the twin stick mould. A rare photograph from 2005 and school canteen menus confirmed its existence. Collector Will McGowan, who archives vintage Aussie ice cream, even uncovered surviving Toucan advertisements, preserving its memory for future generations. Though it has disappeared, Toucan ice cream remains a vivid symbol of childhood summers, a fleeting rainbow treat that inspired nostalgia and, for those who remember, a reminder of how magical a simple icy pole could be. The original Milo Bar. Before energy bars and protein-packed snacks took over, there was one true schoolyard classic, the original Milo Bar. Picture this, the rich, malty taste of Milo, compacted into a chewy bar, then generously coated in chocolate. It was the ultimate combination of childhood energy and indulgence, perfectly sized for lunch boxes, afternoon treats, or post-sport snacks. Australian kids in the 1990s and early 2000s could always count on the Milo Bar for that quick boost of chocolatey malt goodness. Its texture, a satisfying chew rather than the modern crumbly energy bar substitutes, made it unforgettable. Sadly, the original Milo Bar was discontinued in 2003. Nestlé tried to replace it with an energy version, but fans quickly realised that the sequel couldn't match the magic of the original. The taste, the texture, and the nostalgia of unwrapping that chocolate-coated multi-treat remain unmatched. For those who grew up in Australia during its heyday, the Milo Bar wasn't just a snack. It was a daily ritual, a brief escape, and a symbol of childhood happiness. Violet Crumble. Long before modern chocolate bars tried to wow us with caramel and nougat, there was one that truly shattered expectations. The Violet Crumble. First crafted by Hoadley's Chocolates in Melbourne in 1913, it was a crumbly honeycomb toffee centre coated in chocolate, a genius solution to keep the honeycomb dry and crunchy. Its name? A tribute to the founder's wife's favourite flower, and a touch of Aussie romance baked into every bite. Violet Crumble wasn't just a chocolate bar, it was an institution. Its crisp texture, slightly marshmallowy taste, and satisfying shatter made it a lunchbox essential for generations. "It's the way it shatters that matters," the slogan promised, and it delivered every time. Ownership changed hands, Rowntree's, Nestlé, and finally Robin Men's. Yet the bar endured. For 9 years, Violet Crumble vanished from shelves before Robin Men's revived it in 2018, bringing the shatter back to independent stores across Australia. For those who grew up savouring its crackly honeycomb, Violet Crumble is more than a snack. It's a crunchy, chocolatey time machine to childhood memories, a sweet reminder of simpler Aussie days. Incredibites. Remember the days when school lunchboxes were a treasure trove of sweet surprises? Among the favourites of Aussie kids in the late 90s and early 2000s were Incredibites, small chocolate and hazelnut treats that vanished almost as quickly as they appeared on supermarket shelves. Manufactured by Bluebird Foods, these bite-sized snacks were the perfect mid-morning pick-me-up, adored for their rich chocolatey flavour and creamy texture. So popular were Incredibites that when they disappeared, fans didn't just sigh, they rallied. Online petitions emerged, dedicated Facebook pages flourished, and even Reddit threads buzzed with nostalgia, urging for the return of this beloved snack. Yet despite the clamour, the sweet treat remained out of reach. The last trace of Incredibites in the public record was a product recall around 2000 due to abnormal levels of microbial contamination. Since then, it seems these chocolatey gems have slipped into memory alone. For those who grew up dunking them straight from the packet, Incredibites are more than a snack. They are a bittersweet bite of Aussie childhood, missed by a generation still craving their return. Starburst Jelly Beans. Do you remember the little joys of tearing open a packet of brightly coloured Starburst jelly beans as a kid? In Australia, these chewy, fruity morsels were a schoolyard staple for decades, packing a punch of flavour in every bite. From tangy cherry to zesty lemon and sweet strawberry, each jelly bean offered a tiny explosion of nostalgia. But in June 2022, Mars Wrigley pulled the plug, discontinuing Starburst jelly beans in Australia. The reaction was immediate. Fans flooded social media with desperate pleas, sharing screenshots of empty shelves and lamenting the sudden disappearance of a childhood favourite. Some even offered up to $200 per packet online, proving just how much these chewy gems meant to Aussie sweet tooths. Despite their absence, the memory of Starburst jelly beans lingers. They were more than candy. They were a symbol of recess joy, pocket treats, and sticky-fingered fun at the movies. For those who grew up savouring each bite, their disappearance has left a sweet-shaped hole in Aussie hearts, one that no substitute has quite filled. Arnott's Honey Jumbles. Do you remember the comforting crunch of a Honey Jumbles biscuit dunked in a cup of tea? For decades, this classic ginger-flavoured biscuit from Arnott's was a staple in Aussie homes, loved for its sweet, warming taste and delicate texture. Each bite carried a nostalgic reminder of childhood afternoons and family tea times. In July 2021, Arnott's quietly discontinued Honey Jumbles, leaving fans heartbroken across the nation. Amy Wagner, Director of PR and Customer Experience, confirmed the biscuits were pulled from production and stated there are currently no plans for a comeback. The decision reportedly stemmed from low sales during the COVID-19 lockdowns, a surprising end for a cookie so cherished. Despite the sadness, Arnott's tried to offer a silver lining. Their executive chef, Vanessa Horton, adapted the Honey Jumbles recipe for home baking, letting loyal fans recreate a piece of their childhood in their own kitchens. Though the store shelves no longer bear this golden ginger treat, its memory continues to live on in Aussie hearts. Honey Jumbles may have vanished, but the taste of nostalgia remains. Fantales. Remember unwrapping a Fantale at the movies and discovering which famous Aussie actor or actress was featured on the back of the wrapper? For generations, these chocolate-coated caramel chews were more than just a sweet treat. They were a little piece of Aussie pop culture in every bite. First created in 1930, Fantales quickly became a staple of cinema trips, family game nights, and road trips across the country. In 2023, Nestlé announced that Fantales would be discontinued, citing declining sales despite the nostalgic love Australians had for the chewy caramel lollies. Social media was flooded with fans sharing their memories and lamenting the loss of this iconic treat. "We know Fantales is a product that many of us grew up with," Nestlé said, "but like you, we are sad to say goodbye." For those who cherished the mix of chocolate and chewy caramel, there was still a small window to stock up before the last packets disappeared from shelves in July. Though Fantales may vanish from supermarkets, the memories of sharing them with friends, cracking jokes over trivia, and enjoying cinema magic will live on in Aussie hearts. And there you have it, 15 vanished Aussie snacks that shaped our childhoods and left a lasting mark on our taste buds. Maybe some will make a comeback, or maybe they'll remain sweet memories forever. Either way, they'll always have a place in the heart of every true Aussie. Which one was your favourite? Let us know in the comments.